Hi, thank you for joining me this week for Ask Tricia. Tonight's episode, I'm going to talk about putting too much pressure on yourself. And that's something I tend to do all the time. Putting too much pressure on my work, my personal life, exercising, eating, wasting time, working on projects, you name it. It's like every level of my life has a pressure boiler ticking, and that's not good. And I was talking to my uncle the other day because I had an awful day when I taped episode 1, and so I called him and I said, "What did you think?" He said, "Oh, I loved it. I thought it was very good for your first show. You persevered, you pushed through it, and you got it done." And I said, "Yeah, but I really was disappointed in myself because I wanted to shoot it within a certain time frame, get it edited and put up, and do that all within a specific time frame." And he said, "Well, how long did you want to do it?" I said, "Well, I was trying to do it between 5 and 10 p.m. And he was like, "Girl, bye." He said, "You over there working solo as a one-woman crew and you trying to do all that within that time frame? That's unrealistic." And so I'm getting my little ego bruised and I'm taking a little attitude and I'm thinking, first of all, this is what I do. I'm used to doing projects within this time frame and getting everything done. And he said, "Yeah, but it's still unrealistic. You're doing it by yourself. And then you ain't even want to do it. You had to force yourself to get it done." So that added extra pressure. And I was like, okay. So thank you, Uncle Bob. Thank you for teaching me a lesson today. Goodbye. And I just had to laugh because at what point do we say, okay, breathe, relax, it's gonna be okay? I had to tell myself, relax, it's okay. I'm not answering to anybody but myself. I don't have to turn this project into a boss or a business partner or a network. I have to just turn this into myself. And it's okay if I'm late for myself because I'm usually not late for other people, but it's okay for me to be late for myself. And I just had to take a deep breath. And then once I got it done, I was able to feel better about the whole day, and I realized on top of it being September 11th, I think that also made me a little somber. And I didn't realize that it was that special day that I was trying to do the deadline on until I actually started taping and happened to glance at the calendar. And I was like, oh, crap. I picked a very unique day to be trying to do this. But anyway, I got it done. And then afterwards, I was able to go back and make some corrections and redo the edit a little bit better. But I couldn't believe how much pressure I had put on myself. And that's one thing we have to realize we need to do in life is just to breathe a little bit, because there's no such thing as perfection. And that's what we all have in our little imaginary fairy tale mind, that perfection is what everybody sees or is, and nobody's perfect. You can look in a newspaper, on TV, anywhere, down the street, next door, in the mirror. Nobody is perfect. Nothing is perfect. And we have to stop telling ourselves that we can't do things without making errors, and without flaws, because that is not realistic. And I'm glad he told me to go sit down somewhere and be quiet and relax, that I did good. It's okay. Because sometimes we need that person to tell us to breathe And I just realized all of my life, everything I do, I put extra pressure on myself because I'm just striving to make sure everything's right, everything's this and that. And all of that does is slows me down. And then it makes me think harder when if I just relax and let it go with ease, I can get more done and just go with the flow. And not that I don't want to strive for it to be as close to perfect as I want it to be, but I just have to realize there are going to be flaws. That's all a part of life. We see flaws in everything, in TV shows, films, in music, in other people's hairstyles, wardrobes, choices, just everything. Everybody is different. Nobody is perfect. And sometimes we just need to breathe. We need to breathe. It just reminds me how when I am job hunting, I'm so worried about the interviews, getting a call back. Are there going to be enough postings up for me to have 5 to 10 submissions a day? I just be so adamant about putting out those submissions and trying to get that perfect job. And once I had to realize that I was putting too much pressure on myself. Yeah, I need a job, but I don't need to pull my hair out trying to find one. I remember once when I was job hunting and I couldn't find anything right away, and I started doing ride sharing. And I was one of the first female drivers that the company has ever had at that point in time. And so I was a little nervous and apprehensive, but I was like, hey, I have to pay rent. I'm out here by myself, and by any means necessary, I'm going to get this done. And so I started out hating it. I absolutely hated it because people were so disrespectful. It's just unreal how disrespectful people are when they are thinking you work for them, And in a sense, in a customer service environment, you do kind of work for them, but you just don't realize how disrespectful some people can be. And especially towards Black people, I just have to be honest. And so I really was hating the job. And I remember one morning I was getting up, getting dressed, and preparing for the day. And then there was this commercial on television about the guests that were going to be on the David Letterman show. And I said, ooh, I have to set my timer so that I could wake up and watch it. Because usually when I get off, I come home and I just fall asleep, and I'm just in a coma, just so tired because of the stress of everything. And so I set my alarm to wake up because he was having Denzel Washington and Lenny Kravitz. And I was like, oh, okay, I want to see that. That should be kind of fun. And I'm laying in the bed with my head hanging off the edge, one eye open, and the show comes on and I'm watching, and they're absolutely hilariously funny, and I'm really enjoying the show. And then Lenny is singing a new song, and I'm thinking, wait a minute, he has a new CD? I don't even have the old CDs. And so then my curiosity peaked in because I really enjoyed the song. And I was like, oh, wow, I need to find out more about this CD. So the night of, I went to Pandora and I went to Spotify, and I saved as many of the songs from his records that the apps allowed me to save. And so when I went to work the next day driving around, I played Lenny Kravitz all day. And this was the best thing I could have ever done. Within a moment's time, I began enjoying my ride sharing trips because everybody that day that got in my car went, "Oh, hey, wait. Is that Lenny Kravitz? Turn it up. Turn it up. Oh my God, I love Lenny Kravitz." And I was just floored at how everybody reacted to Lenny Kravitz's music. And so the bizarre part of it was everybody had a Lenny Kravitz story except me. I couldn't believe it. I thought I was being pranked. I had a guy, he worked in sound, and so he was there to set up stage one day while Lenny was rehearsing for the concert. And then I had another lady, her daughter lived in Paris, and she did some backup singing for him one time. And I had a lady who had a friend of a friend who was friends with him, and she got to meet him through him. I mean, it was just all kind of crazy stories. And everybody was like, turn that music up. And it didn't matter which CD it was. It was just the fact that they loved Lenny Kravitz. And the funnier story was this lady got in with her son. She said, "Oh, that is Lenny Kravitz. I love him." I said, yeah, I'm learning his music right now because I never bought any of his songs. She said, "Oh yeah, I know him." And so it gets quiet, right? We stop talking. And then all of a sudden we hear this. And we look, and her little 10-year-old son is in the car in the backseat just jamming to Lenny Kravitz. And we just fell out laughing because he was the cutest little thing. And I'm thinking, this boy is just 10 years old in here jamming to a Lenny Kravitz song. Not that there was an age requirement to listen to Lenny's music. It was just the fact that he had never heard it, from what I could tell, being 10 years old, or maybe I'm wrong, but it was just hilarious. It was hilarious. Oh, but I think his mother said he had never heard the song. So that's why we were just laughing. It was the cutest thing that I wish I could have had a camera and had him on video. I mean, it just made my day. By me finding, well, let me rephrase that. By the universe allowing me to stay up to see that show and then listen to all of Lenny's music, just really transformed my whole state of mind while I continued to drive and do ride sharing. And I'm telling you, it took a lot of pressure off of me each day because I was enjoying my music, and then the people were 100% nicer. I kid you not. I wish I had a Bible. They were so nice, and that music put them in such a good mood, good spirits. And here's the thing. I tend to know how people react with me, meaning if they want to talk or if they just want to sit in the car and be quiet and relax. And so all of the people who I realized were like tired, was just trying to get home, go to wherever they were going, the slow songs for Lenny Kravitz came on. And I would look in the rearview mirror and they would be asleep. And there's something about his voice in those slow songs that's just like soothing and mesmerizing to the soul, that it just made all of those people fall asleep. Because the thing is, they would also say, "Oh, is that Lenny Kravitz? I don't think I've ever heard that one." And it would be one of the slower songs. And then moments later, they have just relaxed and fallen asleep until I got to their destination. And so that's when I started really becoming a Lenny Kravitz fan. And I started sharing his content on social media, and people thought I was, losing my mind. Oh my God, look at this girl. All she do is post Lenny Kravitz, and Lenny Kravitz doesn't want her. And, I'm like, people are just too, I don't even have a word right now, just out of their minds at times. They don't even know the true backstory to certain things. And all of that, listening to his music, it honestly brought me out of a depression. I was in a deep depression because I couldn't find a job. I didn't like my life. I was overweight, and people were thinking that I was after him or something. And I had people say, "Oh, you're really in love with Lenny." Oh, and I'm like, you're trying to tell me I can't listen to Lenny Kravitz without people thinking that I'm in love with him? And then I just had to really tune it out and realize that his music was meant for me to find at that time, because I listened to his music from October 2014 to, when did I go to the concert? May 2015. Every single day. I kid you not. Every single day. And I went to that concert and I was just mind blown. And have you ever just wished you could tell someone your story, or just give them a hug or shake their hand and say, your music, your work brought me out of depression. Your work saved my life. Your music saved my life. And that's what I wish I could have done. And I never enjoyed a concert so much in all of my life. So Lenny Kravitz, yes, technically, I do love you. But I love your mind, your music, your lyrics. And that's what people don't get, It's a mind thing. It's a writing thing. It's a creative thing. And that's what I love about Lenny Kravitz. And just to tie in with the pressure, when you're feeling under pressure, find that music, find that movie, find that book, find something that you can turn to or turn on to help you relax, to relieve the pressure, to help you breathe, to help change your mood. And I'm telling you, it works. It works. Whatever it is, that little whisper, because I believe that day when I watched him on David Letterman, that was a whisper from God, that I needed to hear that music at that time. And I'm telling you, it did turn me around. And music is magical. And I have always believed in that. And that's why I was so disappointed in myself that I didn't even have any Lenny Kravitz music in my library, because I'm like a musical connoisseur or an entertainment connoisseur. Yeah, okay, that's a little far, but you know what I mean. And so I had to go and buy his music. And anytime someone got in my car and I could feel the negative energy in the air, I would turn on Lenny Kravitz and boom, the whole ride became a pleasant, fun, exciting ride. The whole mood changed. The whole spirit in that car changed to a positive, energetic vibe. I kid you not. I wish I had more evidence of what I'm saying, but it is the absolute truth. Every nationality, every age group, it did not matter. Lenny Kravitz's music evoked happiness and positivity. I'm just grateful that I found or rediscovered discovered him. You have to find things that ease the pressure in your life and let it be a positive thing that eases the pressure. Like no drinking, drugs, things like that. Find something that helps you in a positive way, exercising, music, movies, television, writing, reading, riding your bicycle, swimming, going to the beach, walking through the sand, that helps, I heard. I do that sometimes because I live not too far from the beach. I just drive down there and put my feet in the sand and walk on the edge of the water. Oh, that is a miracle working power. I want to say thank you for tuning in again, and I hope you have a blessed and great rest of the year because 2020 is wreaking havoc, but I refuse to be defeated. No pressure. Thank you. Have a great evening.